Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. He's a member of the House Oversight and Foreign Affairs Committees. Congressman, we saw you adjusting your camera. You look great, so let's talk about this. The Transportation Secretary yesterday throwing shade at you and your colleagues about the threat of pulling funding from the DOT. Your response?
Well, first of all, I actually like Transportation Secretary Buttigieg, but the obvious thing is that he just keeps regurgitating these tired old points that everything's tied to inclusion and environmental justice. And the reality is, ma'am, is that these tired points are not going anywhere with the American public. Nobody's checking somebody's credentials as they're flying an airplane to see what color they are or who they slept with. They just want to know if they can fly the dadgum plane. It's in every other instance in transportation, and it's not all tied to that. In environmental justice, you know, that smog is somehow racist. It affects us all. It just goes up in the air and it comes down. It's not directed in one neighborhood or the other. But they've used these points over and over and over, and that's why the satisfaction is so low with this Secretary of Transportation. We tried to use what's called the Holman rule and actually zero out his pay because of our dissatisfaction with these woke policies, and it just doesn't ring true with the American public. And you know, and honestly, their goal is an attack on internal combustion and coal fire and eventually, I guess, nuclear, because they've not allowed any nuclear plants to come online. They've shut our oil supplies down, and then they continue on this path of thinking we're all going to have solar panels and windmills, and they just don't work. Right. The technology's not there, the grid's not there to support it, and yet they keep pushing this same woke agenda. So
you're talking about, obviously, energy policy, which we do want to separate, obviously, from what we're talking about, which is the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday and the Transportation Department. So let's put that down for a second. I want to talk about some other things that have been happening, obviously, in Congress. So the White House is now demanding that House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer and House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan withdraw the subpoenas of Biden family members. So there was this letter written. Special counsel to the president, Richard Sauber, accuses Republicans of misrepresenting the facts and ignoring evidence, also claiming the impeachment inquiry lacks, quote, constitutional legitimacy. Congressman, can you respond to this?
Why, sure. There's $24 million that's been paid into the Biden crime family, and it's been paid down to even their minor grandchildren. I think one little girl was 12 or 13 years old and was paid money from some of these corrupt foreign investors. Every time that Joe would fly over to another country, all of a sudden Hunter would end up on the board in that country, and then lo and behold, he would receive a real big check, and then his brother would as well, and you could follow the money way. And then now, with the Chinese Communist Party, you can follow that money right back to Joe Biden. And so you have to ask yourself, what were they buying? Obviously, Hunter is not that proficient in all those things. We know what he's proficient in. And then the money is flowed back to that family, and you have to ask yourself, what in the world were they buying? They were buying influence. And I think that the Al Capone defense is what's going to end up eventually getting them $24 million that we know of. And there's no clear evidence that they paid 1 red cent in taxes. And you know as well as I do, if you sell $500 worth of baseball cards on eBay, you're going to get a letter from the IRS demanding that you pay that. You pay the taxes on that. Yet somehow the Biden family has escaped all these things. So what are they getting? They're getting influence from corrupt officials, and we're worried if that influence is still there, especially with the ongoing conflict with the Chinese Communist Party. I think America should be paying very much attention to this. And Jim Jordan and Chairman Comer are exactly right, and they are guilty of sin, and they know it. And the Biden family, that's why they're squealing so loud. They don't want to come before us because they will either plead the fifth or get nailed to the wall on this thing.
Well, they're gonna fight it. They're gonna fight. Obviously, they and the lawyers are gonna fight it. And even Hunter Biden's attorney, when these subpoenas were first issued, made the comment, well, he looks forward to speaking in a public forum. I have a feeling that has nothing to do with the committees that he's being asked to testify in front of. But that's just me. Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you very much, sir. Have a great Thanksgiving.
And I hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving too, ma'am.